This weaving practice page is going to teach you how to weave. First, let's read the directions. Color the strips. This is your loom. Cut it out. These are your weft strips. Cut them out. Weave them over, under your loom strips. All right, let's start with the first direction, which was color your loom. You can color your loom however you want. You can do a design, you can do lots of different colors, you can do one color. The important thing is that your coloring looks nice and neat. Now that our loom and our weft is all colored in, the next step is to cut it out. Let's start with the loom. When you cut out the loom, you need to cut out the large square first. Being very careful to stay right on the thick black line. There we go. Now you also have to cut on the dotted lines, but there's a really important direction. It says do not cut past this line. So this black line needs to stay, that's your stopping point. So for example, when I cut this strip, I'm going to stop when I get to that black line, so it stays connected. And do every one the same way. Be careful that your cuts are very nice and straight. If they're jaggedy, it's going to make it really hard to do your weaving. If they're nice smooth cuts, it makes it a lot easier. There you go. So that's how your loom should look when you're finished. Looks kind of like a hula skirt to me, okay? All connected up here with this top part. The next step is you're going to have to cut out your weft strips. So once again, I'm just starting by cutting around the whole shape. And then you can cut these pieces all the way apart. So you're going to end up with a lot of little strips just like this. After all your pieces are cut, you're ready to start weaving. So the way that you weave is you take one of your weft pieces and you're going to weave it over, under through your loom, just like this. I'm going to start over the first strip, lift up the second strip to go under, over the third strip, under the next one. It's just like a pattern. Over, under, over, under, over, under. And then you push your strip all the way to the top of your loom. Like that. Then you do your next one. Now when you do your next weaving, it has to be the opposite of the strip that you did right above it. So since I started over, I'm going to start under this time. Under, over, under, and over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. And then you push it all the way up next to the first one. If you're doing your weaving correctly, it should look like a checkerboard as you do it. Now there's some common mistakes that kids make whenever they start learning how to weave. Watch carefully and see if you can figure out when I make a mistake with this third piece. definitely doesn't look right because it doesn't look like a checkerboard anymore. It just looks like stripes. Could you figure out what I did wrong? I did the wrong pattern. This pattern for the second strip was under, over, and I started this third one the same way. It also starts under. So instead of getting the checkerboard look, you just get the stripe look. If this happens to you, you just need to take out your strip. It's really easy to undo it. And this time start the correct way. Not under, but over the first one. To make sure that you have that checkerboard look. And push it all the way up. There we go, that looks better. Now here's common mistake number 2. Watch closely and see if you can figure out when I make a mistake. Can you see where my mistake was? I started the right way, but over here it does not look like a checkerboard, so that means that I messed something up. When you look closely, you can see that I accidentally messed up my pattern right here. Instead of going over, under, I went over, under, under. I skipped one. So if you see a spot where you accidentally skipped, just back it up to where you messed up. You don't even have to pull it out all the way. And then you can fix it. And then push it all the way up. So these are all really nice and close. Okay. You're going to keep going until you've used all of your strips and woven all the way down to the bottom of your loom. When your loom is all the way filled to the bottom and you can't fit any more strips down here, then you need to make sure that you glue each little end piece to make sure that your strips don't come out. So I'm just going to take my glue bottle, open it, shake that glue down, and then carefully lift up each little end piece to give it just a little bit of glue. Here's an end piece here, end piece here. You don't need a lot. Weavings actually stay pretty well on their own. That's kind of one of the neat things about weaving, is it's a way to make all of your materials stay connected. This little tiny bit of glue is just going to help make sure it stays together. And then one last piece here. Maybe over here at the very end. And that's it. Your weaving practice is complete. Now you're going to be ready to do some larger weaving projects in art class.